Hi guys. Alright, happy Sunday with Satan. So, alright, I did a little more digging and found more pioneer history of Indiana and the whole witchcraft craze right here. So that's very interesting. I love it. I think it's amazing. All the comments on Black Annie. I didn't know that I was the first to, I mean, there probably is somebody else out there on YouTube that has mentioned Black Annie, I'm sure. So I thought it was really cool that, let me just go through the comments really quick. But we will do Pioneer History of Indiana and Witchcraft and Witches, and it's pretty interesting, so. So yeah, so everybody that's trying to get a hold of me through this phone, I locked myself out, so I don't know how to get back in. So all I have is this. So I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but hopefully it does. Hopefully this works, and hopefully just this, because that is, yeah, kind of my lifeline. Alright, let's see. Thank you, YouTube, for letting my Valentine's Day Massacre video be approved. Thank you. Alright. Yeah, there were some really interesting comments on the Black Annie, so I didn't know. People were actually literally told that story, and I just think it's pretty neat. Last night I did watch a big documentary on, it's really neat, Killer Legends. It's on Netflix right now. Killer Legends, or I don't know, it was about an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half. It actually went into the actual history of the Candyman. So, and the Cabrini Green projects, all of that. Yeah, pretty interesting. So, if you guys can check that out on Netflix. It's pretty amazing. Well, what did I just say? Yeah, I'm tired. Okay, at 5 a.m. I'm texting my boyfriend through my iPad. I don't know how I did it. Asking where the alarm clock was. There's no clock on my iPad. Go to your home screen. Okay, so I go to my home screen. Do you see the clock? Yes, I see the clock. Thank you, babe. I love you. It's really dark. So, alright. So, okay, Rob Schaefer. Hello. How are you? Alright, the fawn one reminds me of a story I read in elementary school. Probably. I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty neat legends. But yeah, that was just the top 10, supposedly. So, alright, Paul. I'm not going to butcher your last name. So, use stones after use. You can recharge the stones by putting them in the earth. No need to throw away after use. The recharge process usually takes around 30 minutes. Best for an hour. All my shungite I just stick out into the sunlight. Sunlight works perfect. So, no more. You don't have to ever buy more of it. Well, if you are doing like the Orgone jars, yes. But I have a ton of it. I love it. Okay, Lex. Hello. How are you? Alright, so also at certain times when my house shouldn't be freezing, I felt a cloud of chill move through me, and immediately I became aware that it's possible someone is there. Yes, it is. It's very possible. That feeling, I know that feeling well. It's where you get into your bed and you're just shaking in your teeth. It feels like a seizure. Well, I have seizures, so. Alright. And sometimes I get an even more intense response, where when it moves through or past me, the cold hits my bones and I feel a dull ache Yes, exactly, so I can definitely relate to that. Oddly, I've only been able to feel these temperature changes in the last couple of years. Oh my god, my entire life I have felt these temperature changes. And having fibromyalgia makes it, you're more sensitive to the cold, to the hot. Well, hot feels better, so you're not as sensitive because you're more lubricated. And the vitamin D, whatever, getting into your skin and, helping to heal your joints and stuff. But, yes, it's freaky, because at first you feel like it's a seizure, and then it's not. Well, sometimes it is, for me. Alright, before that I was receiving all other worldly signs from visitors in an auditory fashion. I've had that too, and that's even creepier. When you have PTSD, and you hear certain repetitive voices that are not your own. You're not crazy, so they're not your own voices. It's just a repeat of something that you're traumatized by. I get that, so sometimes it's really hard to distinguish between the PTSD voices or the spirit. So yeah, it sucks. So, mainly ringing equals frequency changes. But every now and then my name being called by a woman that sounds like me. See, I hear that too, and I don't know if that's PTSD kicking in or if it's spirit. So, I just use my best discernment. Do my best. So usually when I'm doing it for somebody else, I know I can 120% differentiate between the two. Alright, so she's even tried to pull me astrally many times in my sleep. Ooh, that can be scary. When calling my name frightened me farther into my body. Her hand feeling young and soft with long and thin fingers just like mine. Anyways, enough of my tangent. I missed you. Oh, I'm glad you're back. I love that. I love your story. Alright, Lex. Love this video. Thank you. So yeah, that's creepy. I mean, it's really creepy because we know it, we feel it, but it's still not sure, that not sure feeling. Alright, Jasper Quinzel. Hi Hubby, how are you? I have not forgotten about your email. I've just been really busy. So, Hubby, I adore your last few videos. The less known witches and warlocks deserve attention through history too. Yes, they do. My ancestor Alice Kyteler would be one I recommend you look up. She's my personal hero and one of the first women in Ireland accused of witchcraft. Other what may be of interest to you? A list of witches and warlocks from Ireland, England, Scotland. Tamsin Blight, Eliphas Levi Zahed, Mother Waterhouse, Isabel Gowdy, Catherine Souter, Janet Bradheed, Agatha Southiel. Wow, I love that. That is so awesome. Alright, Albert Wesker. Why don't people use real pictures of themselves? Do you guys have to hide behind a mask? I think so. Alright, 3:30, ass? Question mark. Well, nice play, however, it's all bullshit because it's moving by hands. Not an demon, or thing. You need to learn how to fucking spell. You piss me off. You need to learn proper grammar. Dumb fuck. There you go. Have a nice day. Alright. Reverend Seymour Graves. That sounds like Lucian. graves. I want to thank you so much. I'm so sorry. That's, no, never mind. Forget I said that. I want to thank you so much. You're the only one I've ever mentioned our local legend, Black Annie. Oh, okay. I live in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Oh, you're close to me. And my mother used to tell me the story of Black Annie all the time when I was little. It was one of my favorite bedtime stories, you might say. Great video, by the way. Thank you. I did not know. That is awesome. That is really awesome. Have you ever had an experience with her? Has she ever... I mean, I guess it was a story to tell your kids to get them to go to sleep. So have you ever... any encounters? I would love to know. So that is really cool. I love these. Okay, so your Jasper, your ancestor, Alice Kyteler. Okay, we will be going back to that in just a minute. So, okay, witchcraft and witches, right here. So, the pioneer history of Indiana. So, to the educated and cultured people of this date, it sounds strange indeed that there were, or ever was, a period in this or any other country's history when such foolish fallacy as witchcraft was believed in, but such was the fact. Witchcraft and witches were in the bane of the lives of every respectable people. So we were everywhere, but this is just pioneer history, and this is just the mass hysteria, so we have to take that in consideration too. So, alright. New England had overdone the witch business so much. Yes. Salem is overrated. All of it is overrated. So, alright, New England had overdone the witch business so much in an early day that those believing such foolery at a later period were content to silently sever the imaginary wrongs from those they thought were witches, without resorting to drastic measures to punish them. Yeah, this is like the witch flying through the air on the broom type thing, not the actual, not like us. So, alright. So, in fact, the conduct of the Puritans had such a reaction on themselves for brutally murdering innocent men and women on spectral evidence that ever since there has been such an odium attached to believers in witchcraft that none were willing to own any connection with it. That was back in that day, though, so everybody now, we all know. Alright, so the early settlers in Indiana were mostly from the South. Okay, so that explains a lot. So they were mainly from the South. And few of them ever heard of Salem and the witch trials. So the people that came from the South here had never even heard of Salem or the witch trials. It's because it's overrated, it's overdone, and it's fading. I have no interest in Salem anymore. It just... Alright, so some of them believed in witchcraft in a mild form. So if a gun did not shoot well, it was often said to be bewitched. Alright, so yeah, whatever. If the butter refused to gather, some said a witch had put a spell on the churn. If the soap wouldn't thicken, it was said that some old witch was the cause. If a hen failed to hatch well, or a cow should give bloody milk... Oh, gross. It was attributed by some to witches. So this belief was confined to a very few in this section. So early in the 30s, alright, a band of nomads named Griffies, located in eastern Gibson County, about 1.5 miles northwest of Oakland City. They built floorless huts in a cluster around a large spring on land that recently belonged to William M. Thompson. So there were 30 or 40 people in the colony, all of whom were superstitious and believed in witches and ghosts. Alright, so in the early 30s. That's not too long. I mean, that's really not too long ago. That's pretty neat. And they all believed in witches and ghosts, but that does not make them superstitious. I would say Italians are very superstitious. Bad luck and ghosts is what we believe in. Big time. Big time. So they were looked upon as an indolent, lazy set, but had one feature about their manner of living which was certainly commendable. Yeah, commendable. They had several very old people with them, men and women, who they cared for and who were not related to them or had any claim on them, but had been gathered into this colony for no other reason than sympathy for their helpless and forlorn condition. So these people actually were all-inclusive. They took outsiders in, elders, big plus, into their village, their community, and took care of them. So, obviously these people were more civilized than the people that were supposed to be advanced civilization. And that's sad saying that from the 30s. So, alright. So at one time, Jonas and Casway Griffey came to see whoever is saying this, my father, and wanted small change in bits and quarters for $1. One of them wanted to know if silver would melt in a ladle with lead. My father at once concluded that they wanted to make counterfeit coin and told them that he was surprised to think that they would undertake such business. Well, they were probably smarter than the people in here. So, they were much alarmed at what father said to them and said they had no thought of doing wrong. They had a secret among themselves that they had not intended to tell, but would have to tell him in order to clear themselves of suspicion. So, and enjoined my father to keep it. They had lived for some years in Martin County. This stayed before coming to this part, and they had so much trouble here that they moved away in the hope that their trouble would cease. But for the last several months, the same trouble had come to them, and they were planning to rid themselves of the evil. So they wanted the small coin so they could melt it in lead and run it into bullets for the purpose of disabling witches, so that they would be let them alone. That's a little creepy. So, okay, so these people obviously weren't witches. They were going to this man for help. Okay. Okay, so they said that there was an old woman who lived near them in Martin County, who was a terror to all the country around. She did not fear anything, would ride without a bridle and saddle, the wildest, unbroken horse, and would fight any man. Well, that sounds like a modern-day lesbian to me. Or just a really powerful woman, or anybody. She had nearly killed 2 of their neighbors in a fight. I like this woman. They said that before they moved down here, they had 4 head of cows, but could not get any milk from 2 of them at any time. They were always milked dry. So the old witch did not have any cows, but always had plenty of milk and butter. We tried, said they, many ways to find out how the cows were milked, but did not succeed until one morning one of our women went up to the old witch's house and saw her doing something with a towel, which was hanging in a small window. So while the witch's back was turned, she determined to find out what she was doing. She first stuck a pin in the towel and named it for one of their cows. Okay, sympathetic magic. Then she took the hold of the fringe and commenced to milk it as if she were milking a cow. When she had finished that cow, she put another pin into the towel and named it after their best cow, and proceeded to milk her in the same way. At night she would assume the form of a black cat and go all over our homes. Wow. Alright, so we tried many times to kill the cat, but could not do it. Bummer. Alright. Okay, so finally old Mr. McCoy, one of our people, saw the cat go into his room. He closed the door and armed himself with an axe. You're gonna really kill a cat with an axe? That's a little, gruesome. Opening the door a little ways to let the cat run out, which it did, he cut off one of its ears. The next morning, one of their women, went over to see the old lady and found her in bed with a bandage on her head. That night, she went back to Mr. McCoy's cabin, found the ear, and grew it back on. Oh, as well as ever, except that it was cropped. Ooh, wow. So after that same black cat was seen with one ear cropped, they brought the same 4 cows when they moved down there. The range was good and they gave an abundance of milk. About 2 months ago, 2 of our men were in the woods hunting and saw the same crop-eared black cat. So ever since that evening, our 2 best cows have given no milk. And we have many other troubles which we attribute to the same cause. So a few years later, the section that these Griffies occupied had a terrible scourge of what was known as the Black Tongue, and 15 or 20 of the colony died from the dreadful disease. That's scary. They attributed it all to the same one-eared black cat, and as soon as they were able to get away, they moved up east on the Patoka River, and none of them were ever seen in this section again. So this person says, I have been unable to learn if the same one-eared black cats still follow them up, inflicting misfortune upon them. I highly doubt it was an infliction of misfortune. Highly doubt it. Huh. Now I wonder what her name was. It doesn't say anything about her name. Nothing about her name. It says nothing about her name. It just shows. Yeah. I really wish I could find her name. Oh wow, with lots of Indians here. Tons of Indians here. Yeah, I don't know. There's really nothing else on Witchcraft right here in this book. So I really, really, really want to know what her name was. Alright, so we will have to look for this woman. Alright, so what county did I say she was here in? Wow, where did I go? Okay, here we go. Alright, back up to the witches. Okay, so okay. Early in the 30s, a band of the nomads named Griffies, located in eastern Gibson County. Okay, so Jonas and Casway Griffey came to see his father. Okay, we already went over that. Who lived near them in Martin County, an old woman. Okay, Martin County, who is a terror. Okay, Martin County Witch, Indiana. So we will look that up and see what we find for her. So, Martin County, Indiana. Witch. That we'll see. Huh. Wow. Okay, I'm finding a little bit of stuff. Not much. Yeah, there's not much. There's images. Okay, haunted places in Martin County. Hauntings within Indiana. Okay, that's pretty much it. Alright, so okay, Martin County. Let's see. Okay, everything is going back to Irene Ray. So, Jug Rock in Shoals, Indiana is the largest freestanding table rock formation in the United States east of the Mississippi River. Alright, so nothing is coming up for that woman in Martin County except Irene Ray. Was that her? Yeah, I'm not finding it. Or her. Yeah, it's all about Irene. We already know about her. Haunted Hoosier history. No. I highly doubt anything will come up about her. So let's go back and just see what this is. Martin County hauntings. Alright, so Whisper Stays, we already went through all of these. So not finding Papa John's Pizza. I did not know that that was haunted. That's funny. That's really funny. Alright, Terre Haute. Greencastle, there's so much in Greencastle. Alright, so I'm not finding anything on this one. Mount Vernon. Yeah, there's... Yes. Why can't I find anything on her? Nope. Crap. Okay, now we have the Martin County Tribute Archives. A journal. Martin County Journal. So none of this makes sense. Yeah, none of this makes sense. So, witch. Oh, doctor. Witches, maybe? I don't know. Maybe she's here. No, she's not. This is all, I don't know, this goes way back to like the 1800s. Huh. Yeah, I'm not finding anything. Well, this might. Buttermilk Junction? Not sure. Oh, this is Pinterest. Discover ideas about Martin County. There's nothing in here about her. Oh. Yeah, there's nothing in here about her at all. Well, that's a bummer. It's a big, big bummer. Oh, lots of pictures of the Indians. I don't know, guys. Oh, twins. Creepy twins. Woman with a handgun and a jar of moonshine. That's wonderful. Alright, so evidently... yeah, this woman's not there. Alright, so... I am not even gonna go there now. So, alright, Jasper. What did you say her name was? Okay. Shit. Alice. Alice Kyteler. Okay. Let me look that up. Alright. That's pretty cool that you actually... huh. Okay, Alice Kyteler. Witch. Alright. Yep. Wow. Wow. Holy crap, she was born October 31st, 1280. Wow, you're related to her? In something, Kilkenny, Ireland. And then she died November 3rd, 1324. Ooh, she didn't live long. Dublin, Ireland. Okay, so the sorcery trial of Alice Kyteler. Okay, the witch who ran while her servant burned. This is interesting. Alright, this is pretty cool. Thank you for this amazing little story. Why is this in Japanese? Okay, so Dame Alice Kyteler, I think, 1263 to later than 1325, was the first recorded person condemned for witchcraft in Ireland. She fled the country, but her servant Petronilla de Meath was flogged and burned to death at the stake on November 3rd of 1324. Huh. Okay, so Kyteler was born in Kyteler's House, country Kilkenny, Ireland, the only child of a Flemish family of merchants settled in Ireland since the mid to late 13th century. She was married 4 times to William Outlaw, Adam Le Blund, and Richard de Val, and Sir Jean Le Poer. Alright, so... wow, so in 1302, Kyteler and her second husband were briefly accused of killing her first husband. She incurred local resentment because of her vast wealth and involvement in money lending. Why was she accused of a witch then? When her fourth husband, Jean Le Poer, fell ill in 1324, he expressed the suspicion that he was being poisoned. After his death, the children of Le Poer and of her previous 3 husbands accused her of using poison and sorcery, against their fathers, and of favoring her firstborn son, William Outlaw. Okay, so, in addition, she and her followers were accused of, okay, so she had followers, denying the faith of Christ in the church. Okay, that's very common today. Cutting up animals to sacrifice to demons at crossroads. That was probably just something that they totally just, like, pulled out of their ass and did that, they accused her of that. Holding secret nocturnal meetings in churches to perform black magic and undermine or overpower the church. Using sorcery and potions to control Christians. Possession of a familiar, Robin Artisan, a lesser demon of Satan. And murder of husbands. Okay, Robin Artisan. You all know who that is, right? Not this same Robin. Wow. Okay, so she possessed a familiar. Okay, this is a really interesting page. Alright, so her trial. Wow. Okay, so Richard de Ledrepe, Bishop of Ossory, was obsessed with the laws of the church and morality. So when the case was presented before him in 1324, he seized the opportunity, power, money hungry, to tackle what he considered the important issues of witchcraft, the important issues. So Ledrede made initial attempts to have Kyteler arrested, and Kyteler called on the assistance of powerful friends. Okay, so the bishop was jailed and questioned. Okay, so she was a woman of money and wealth. By Sir Arnold Le Poer, Seneschal of Kilkenny. On Lenrede's release, he renewed his efforts to have Kyteler imprisoned. So the bishop wrote to the the Chancellor of Ireland, Roger Outlaw, demanding that she should be arrested. So he used the decreal designed to protest the faith UT Inquisitions of 1298, demand that secular powers should concede to church wishes. And this point of law became a thorny issue throughout the trial. So Kyteler was released to Chancellor. He was probably her first husband's brother, and he asked the bishop to drop the case. A delay in proceedings. The Chancellor insisted the accused be excommunicated 40 days before arrest, which allowed Alice to flee to Roger. And Ledrede accused him of harboring heretics. Alice and her accomplices were accused of and investigated on 7 accounts. Wow. Committing heresy, sacrificing to demons, communing with demons, magically excommunicating or usurping the church, making love and hate potions to corrupt Christians, murdering her past husbands, and engaging in a sexual affair with a demon. Wow. Okay, so she is really wow. So after some months of stalemate, one of Kyteler's servants, Petronella de Meath, was tortured and confessed to witchcraft. Her confession detailed her involvement along with Alice's in 6 out of 7 of the above listed crimes. So it would seem, although her testimony was likely forced and unreliable, that the accusers gained most of their information from this confession. So although the testimony did not implicate Kyteler to perform heresiary, questions concerning Petronella's credibility come into light, especially when examining the contents of her confession in Ledrede's retelling of Petronella's confession. He writes, alright, so, wow. I can't believe Robin Artisan. So she was accused of having a familiar named Robin Artisan. That's interesting. It's more than interesting. Lovely. It's like spitting snow. I hear guns. I don't like that. Alright, so this is the retelling of the confession. So, okay, on one of these occasions, by the crossroads outside the city, she had made an offering of 3 rocks. Of 3 cocks. To a certain demon, whom she called Robert, son of Art. Robertum filium artis. How ironic. Or, how synchronistic. Weird. Okay, from the depths of the underworld. She had poured out the cock's blood, cut the animals into pieces, and mixed the intestines with spiders and other black worms like scorpions, with an herb called milfoil, as well as other herbs and horrible worms. She had boiled this mixture in a pot with the brains and clothes of a boy who had died without baptism, and with the head of a robber who had been decapitated. Okay, at least she got the robber's head fairly, in a way. I don't believe the boy that was not baptized or whatever. Alright. So, Petronella said she had several times, at Alice's instigation, and once in her presence, consulted demons and received answers. She had consented to pact whereby she would be the medium between Alice and the said Robert, her friend. It doesn't add up. So in public, she said that with her own eyes, she had seen the aforesaid demon as 3 shapes in the form of 3 black men, each carrying an iron rod in the hand. So this apparition happened by daylight, before the said Dame Alice, and while Petronella herself was watching, that apparition had intercourse with Alice. Okay, this is a classic tale. So after this disgraceful act, with her own hand, she, Alice, wiped clean the disgusting place with sheets from her own bed. Wow. What a story. You're related to her? That's amazing. So given that ergot poisoning was prevalent in the 14th century Europe, scholars argue that Petronella could have suffered from an ergot-induced fever dream, whose effects would be similar to that of LSD. There we go. So we have something going on. So in other words, Petronella may have been believed to have seen these events because she was hallucinating. However, in spite of this, Petronella's testimony in the trial led to her death. Okay, so she was evidently something was wrong, mentally ill. Something was wrong. Something was going on. So, Petronella was burnt at the stake for witchcraft and herstory. She was the first person in Ireland to be burnt at the stake for these crimes, and the first sentenced to death for herstory. Her testimony was also enough to lead prosecutors to move forward against Kyteler. So it is said that Kyteler fled to England. She appears no further in contemporary records. The bishop continued to pursue her working-class associates, bringing charges of witchcraft against them. So Petronella de Meath was flogged and burned at the stake on November 3rd of 1324. So Petronella's daughter, Basilia, fled with Kyteler. Kyteler's son, William Outlaw, was also accused of herstory, usury, perjury, adultery, and clericide. William recanted and was ordered to hear 3 masses a day for a year and to feed the poor. Okay, so he was convicted of all that. Usually adultery is like beheading. You get beheaded if you were committing adultery back then. Witchcraft was worse. So, wow. That is, oh my god. There are so many burnings. Wow. Alright, so. Okay, here's a poem actually. Lady Kyteler figures in William Butler Yeats's poem 1919. That's the name of the poem, obviously. Alright, okay, but now wind drops, dust settles. Thereupon there lurches past his great eyes without thought, under the shadow of stupid straw-pale locks, that insolent friend Robert Artisan, to whom the love-lorn Lady Kyteler brought bronzed peacock feathers, red combs of her cocks. Wow. Huh. So there's a novel written based on this, and a musical too. The Stone, based on Nolan's book, premiered in Kilkenny in 2011. Wow. Alright, so the significance, in the late 13th and 14th century, herstory was considered as evidence of the struggle with the devil, with the dangers of witchcraft, voiced by the papacy in Avignon. So Pope John the 12th listed witchcraft as herstory in his Bull Super Ilius Specula. So Kyteler's was one of the first European witchcraft trials, and followed closely on the election of this Pope, 1316 to 1334. Alright, so obviously much more was going on far from Salem. So why is Salem to this day still like it's not the witches' capital, I can assure you that. Alright, so Pope John the 12th listed, let's see, witchcraft as herstory. I already read that. So Kyteler's case appears to involve the first recorded claim of a witch lying with her incubus. Annales state that Ricardus and those are weird names. That is, that Kyteler had intercourse with a demon named as Robin Artisan. That is crazy. That is crazy. I mean, do we have a picture of her? Do we have a picture of her? I would love. There, let's see. Oh, we do have a picture of her. Images. Damn it. Alright. So, okay. Here is where she lived. This is where she lived. Oh, there's actually a movie too about her. So this is Alice, her name's Alice. So Alice's house in Kilkenny is now a popular inn. So that's the inn right there. What did she look like? Oh, she's got all kinds of stuff going on for her. So here's a... Oh, there she is. Alright. How classy. Really, how classy is that? So, what do you guys think? It's liberating to tell these stories of these other people that went through stuff that we would go through. All of us would be burned and killed, or something at the hands of the church. I was reading today about how Jen and Sylvia, you two ladies, you wrote something very amazing. That is why I wore you today. I wear you anyway, but about the first commandment of not taking God's name in vain. And that is what the church did. That is why they think that they are up there with God when they're not. They are no more powerful than we are. I think we have more power than they do, but that's a different story. So, wow, that's incredible, Jasper. if you guys want your stories told about these lesser known witches, now this is, hopefully this will blossom this video throughout the YouTube community, the witch community. So if you guys want to share this, share the lesser known witches so their stories can be told. It's liberating. Alright, happy Sunday with Satan, guys. And watch out for the black cat, because that same black cat is around here too, with the crop deer. So that's odd. Oh, I did read that from the Pioneer History of Indiana. But her cat, her black cat, Robin Artisan, very different. So, alright guys, I love you all very much. So everybody have a good day. I love you all the way from Venus, all the way back down. And wow, crazy amazing stories. So, alright guys, stay cold, or stay warm. Stay cold, stay warm. And yeah, enjoy. And thanks for watching.